In India today, nothing screams I have arrived more than getting yourself a large SUV in your garage. And in that, nothing is more iconic than this. This is of course the second generation Tata Safari, which was launched in India last year. Now when the car was launched, we had a go with it. But today, we've had more time with the car and we are going to tell you 5 things that we like about the second generation Tata Safari facelift and 2 things that we think Tata could work on. Before we get into our deep dive of this Tata Safari facelift, here's a little reminder. Are you enjoying the content on our channel? Then do hit those like, share and subscribe buttons and also that bell icon to be notified the instant we put out a new video. The Tata Safari is available in the Smart, Pure, Pure Plus, Adventure and Accomplished trim levels, or Personas as Tata calls them. The engine in question is Tata's 2-litre diesel engine producing 168 bhp and 350 Nm of torque, and is offered either with the 6-speed manual or a 6-speed torque converter automatic, which is what we have in our video today. All versions, save for Smart and Pure Personas, are available with both automatic and manual transmission options. Prices at the time of making this video started at Rs 16.19 lakh and topped out at Rs 27.34 lakh ex-showroom. As I said at the start, nothing screams I have arrived in life more than getting yourself a large SUV, and this is quite a big one at that in terms of presence. You get Tata's new grille, this large LED DRL that you saw doing a nice sequence, and of course low set headlamps that have come in due to regulation, but Tata's integrated it quite nicely into the design. Now in profile you can see the flowing lines of the Safari as well as the added length that it has over the Harrier to accommodate the third row. Some of the major highlights here include these chrome elements on the door handles, these flared wheel arches with the black cladding, and of course these lovely 19-inch wheels that were first showcased on the Sierra EV concept last year. They do add a really nice and premium touch to the car's overall appearance. Moving over to the rear of the Tata Safari, you can see quite a few elements that catch your attention. One is of course the squared off look of the rear end, which is a signature of the Tata design, not just for its SUVs, but it's been there across for a while. The other is of course its black applique that is now a signature of all Tata vehicles. Finally, you also get a large Safari badge at the back if you already didn't know what the car was. Adding to these elements is also the fact that you get quite a few customization options and 7 rich paint schemes that are not as loud as the Harrier but still do help the Safari stand out in a crowd. Lastly, there is also the fact that it is 4.66 meters with a wheelbase of 2.71 meters, which makes it a large car by any standard. The car that's featured in our video today is a top-of-the-line Accomplished Plus variant with all the bells and whistles and even some of the drums that Tata offers for its flagship SUV, the likes of which include these dual digital displays, this one running the infotainment system and this one a full digital instrument cluster. You get the new Tata steering wheel with the illuminated Tata logo, these wood finish like patterns on the dashboard, and this touch sensitive climate control system, which is of course dual zone climate control with rear AC vents and vents for the third row. Now this climate control interface has a gloss black exterior, which is nice, but as with all gloss black surfaces, it could be a fingerprint magnet in the future. It does have some additional controls, like the lock, the boot, the 360-degree camera, in addition to the climate control interface. And because there's no haptic response, it will take you a little more time to develop muscle memory for these. Now in the center console, you get USB-C charging ports, you get a cooled armrest storage, cooled glove box, and you get 1-liter bottle holders in both the doors. Other major features include an all-LED light package, a level 2 ADAS, sans lane keep assist at the time of shooting this video, connected car technology, BOS function for the left rear passenger, rear AC vents with fan control for the third row, dual pane sunroof, rear window blinds and a power opening tailgate. Here are the top highlights of the feature list in the Tata Safari. In the 6-seat guys, the Tata Safari offers a rear seat package for those that prefer to be driven around and sit in the back and enjoy themselves. Some of the major highlights of this rear seat package include these seat back pockets, multiple storage ports including a phone holder in the doors, pillar mounted AC vents, these adjustable headrests with side support, and the captain seats are of course ventilated, so you get some additional comfort. There's no dearth of shoulder room, headroom, or even knee room, but under thigh support is not all that great as the seat base is a bit small, but it's something that you will adjust to if you plan to purchase the car. One of the places where the Tata Safari really shines is in terms of ride quality. Now, that comes on the basis of, I think, two things. One is the fact that Tata has been making cars for Indians in India for the last 30 years, which means they've understood our roads and our demands really well. And the other thing is, of course, that they now have access to the Land Rover DNA, which is what some of it is there in this car, and that makes a difference, right? Now, as one would expect in a large SUV like this, you're meant to feel big with presence. It gives you a kind of invincibility in terms of the ride quality department. This thing just rides flat. It's got large wheels, really high amount of ground clearance, so you don't have to worry about scraping anything. And potholes, bumps, imperfections, little humps and things like that you'd get from large number of concrete roads that warp when it's hot. Nothing. This thing just rides flat, will keep you going with absolutely no problems at all. And that plays into its ability also to be a good long distance car, because you don't have to take your foot off the gas to slow down. These little speed breakers and things, you can just go flat over it and it keeps going. Absolutely no problem at all. Doesn't send back anything into the cabin, keeps the occupants like super stable, no issues at all. Even in terms of insulation, if you look at it, really not a problem at all. You don't hear the car groaning and creaking as you for want of better term, aim to punish it on the road less taken. Really no issues at all. That being said, you have to remember one thing, which is that this is a front wheel drive car and it doesn't have all wheel drive or four wheel drive as you got with the previous Safari, and that limits how far you can push the car before you reach the limit of its ability. Now Tata themselves have said that you can get all-wheel drive with this car. It has the systems in place to enable all-wheel drive for the Safari and even the Harrier, but has held back till now because there's hardly any customer demand for that. Basically, if it gets customer demand, this car will get all-wheel drive, vastly expanding its capability of how far you can push it on the road less taken. Now, as a car to drive, as one would expect, it's large and you can feel its presence very well, right? And automatic gearbox, nice torquey diesel engine. You can go long distance cruising, no problem at all. Now, in the city, there's one thing, that this is a large car, which means that you had to wrap your head around the fact that it is going to be a little difficult to park. Squeezing through traffic is going to be a challenge. But like you said, it comes with wanting to own a big SUV. The diesel engine is very torquey, which means that you require very little effort to keep cruising, be it city, be it highway. In city, essentially, you get everything that comes with an automatic gearbox. You get your creep function, hill hold, hill descent control, all of that. Really not a problem at all. Now, this second generation Safari, in this facelifted guise, Tata has replaced the hydraulic power steering with the electric power steering, and that has really made a difference in terms of the ability to drive the car. The steering is light, very easy to use, doesn't require as many turns to go from lock to lock, and oddly enough does help in masking the size of the car a little bit, makes it that much simpler to drive. But like we said, really there's no way that you can hide the size of the car, and it would be better if you wrapped your head around that and accepted that this is a large vehicle and drove it in that manner. Tata officially claims a mileage of 14.08 kmpl for this diesel automatic powertrain. And with a 50-litre tank, you can get a theoretical range of 704 kilometers. In our real-world test, we got 10.97 kmpl in the city and 13.94 kmpl on the highway, giving us an average tank-to-tank range of well over 600 kilometers, which in our books is pretty decent figure for something this large, spacious, and with an automatic gearbox. As a part of the deal, you get 3 driving modes that include Eco, City and Sport, the last of which opens up the engine completely, giving you pretty decent responses as you push along at 3-digit speeds. Finally, you also get paddle shifters, which are not as responsive as one would like, but does add to the overall driving experience. It's only available with diesel power, and that at a time when all of its rivals are offering GDI turbo petrol engines with both AT and MT options. This part of the market does lean quite strongly towards diesels, but there are buyers who want big SUVs that will drive less or not be concerned about running costs, and Tata currently doesn't have a presence for those buyers. If we had to nitpick on this train a little bit further, it would be that the diesel engine, though powerful and packing quite a punch, is noisy, gruff, and not as refined as the offerings from its Indian or Korean rivals. While the second row package may have been quite comprehensive, offering a lot in terms of features, the third row is not all that great. And oddly enough, that's one of the USPs of buying the Safari over the Harrier. Think of it this way, it's an option that you get to take 2 more people with you rather than considering it as a full-fledged vehicle. Now, it's strictly a space for 2 people. I mean, if you attempt to fit a third one, the seat is also incomplete as the mechanism comes out from there. Features here include fan control for the third row, but oddly enough not for the second row, USB-C charging ports and roof-mounted AC vents. You also get a little storage space here that's big enough to keep a regular smartphone. Access to the third row, especially in the 6-seat model, can come either via moving the seat forward or slipping between both the passenger seats to access the third row. We've spent some time with the Tata Safari and checked it out in detail across various parameters, and let's have a quick summary of each of them. Presence, car is very large, lots of fancy design elements, bright, rich color schemes rather than you can say bright. Bright is what the Harrier gets. This one gets rich color schemes, and because it's a large vehicle, it's never lacking on presence. Inside, lots and lots of feel-good features, 360-degree camera, level 2 ADAS, dual digital displays, a boss mode for the second row, and then the second row package as a whole, you get a lot of space inside, especially in this 6-seat layout, so it feels quite special that way. We wrote the lack of screens or tray tables, and they are not even available as official accessories, though I think if there's sufficient customer demand, Tata will add it to the package. The other positive, of course, is ride quality, and the fact that Tata has been making cars for Indians in India for the last 30 years and now also has the Land Rover heritage and the DNA in the Safari. It rides really beautifully, takes everything in its path without any difficulty. In fact, you don't lose space at all, and with high ground clearance, not an issue, whatever comes in your path. Of course, you have to remember that this is a front-wheel drive car and that its limitation of how far you can take it on the path less taken is also something that you have to keep in mind. Tata themselves have said that if there is sufficient demand, there is scope to add all-wheel drive for the Harrier and Safari, but that's based on customer demand. Now, on the flip side, of course, is the fact that the diesel engine is noisy, it's loud, and the fact that you only get it with the diesel engine. There is enough demand for large petrol SUVs that Indian buyers want. You can see that Hyundai offers it, MG offers it, Mahindra offers it. So that means there is demand and people do want it. And Tata did showcase a 1.5 litre GDI turbo petrol engine at the 2023 Auto Expo, but have so far not officially announced any plans to offer it either in the Safari or Harrier. Finally, the other con, of course, is the third row. Now, the third row is one of the USPs of the Safari, the reason why you'd buy the Safari over the Harrier. The third row is it's feature loaded in that sense that you get USB charging ports, you get your own fan speed control, which is there for the third row, but surprisingly not there for the second row. And you of course get a phone storage space on the side. But in the third row, you sit low. The seat base is low, which means that your knees are high, which means that you don't get under thigh support at all. And it's a space strictly for 2 people. You can see that there's a little gap in the seat from which the seatbelt mechanism comes out, which means that for a third person to sit there, it's going to be very tight and very difficult. The space in the third row, like we said, is not all that great, but that's the difference between having a third row and having to take a second vehicle, or having for 2 more people to come in a different manner. The seats of course fold down flat in an almost flat manner to give you significantly added cargo space to store whatever you want at the rear. So there you have it, our impressions of the Tata Safari in this facelifted, guys. Do you think we've missed anything? What else do you want to know about the Tata Safari? Do let us know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.